Welcome to Trade of the Week with me, Zinati Guma. Today, Moxima Gama, Senior Technical Analyst at the Money Hub, joins us for a technical analysis on some telecoms industry players with insight on MTN, Blue Label, Telecoms and Telkom. Thank you so much for your time, Moxima. Today we are on some Yebo Gogo. Well, actually not Yebo Gogo because that's Vodacom.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I'll tell you the reasons why I'm leaving Vodacom out.
Yes.
Because everyone's like, Telkom, why Telkom? So the reason why I've chosen these particular telecommunication sector at this point in time is because it's just become this newfound love.
Yes.
Or this influx of, optimism that has bestowed them.
When they were heavily unloved for at least 2 years.
More than 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's been that downward trend. And this newfound love has actually, in fact, taken them out of that long-term bear trend. And you know how I love myself, those bear trend breakouts. Because they just, they at least promise that upside.
Yeah.
So that's the main reason why I picked these, because they're now officially trading out of the bear trend. And there's another move that I'm going to kind of teach you. That is like a cherry on top, because once it happens, then it gives me or any other investor confirmation that there is that potential promised upside. And I'll show you the move when we speak about the shares right now. So it's so far it's Blue. I've mentioned Blue before.
Yes.
So it remains a share to invest, and then the new one would be MTN and Telkom instead of Vodacom.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you, when I deal with Telkom, it's because of that particular move that I told you, that it needs to perform. Otherwise, it just may be a fake breakout. Yeah.
All right. Well, let us start off with MTN.
Blue.
Blue Label. Okay, Blue Label. Okay, so you've touched on it already.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting because for a long time, nobody really spoke about Blue Label, I guess also because they were trying to sort out their house, especially when it comes to Cell C, an investment that a lot of people were like, you guys made a bad decision here. But they've stuck it out. So what does that picture look like?
So the picture's looking like there is this newfound love. In fact, with Blue Label, they already broke out a while back. So it's just these other shares that are now following suit. So that optimism was already brewing for a time. So I'm just going to show you that is the breakout that has happened there. In fact, this little dotted trend line is more of the long-term breakout. And this is more of the, effectively, it's now in a bull trend, as you may see there. Now, this move is called a return move, right? And when I see a return move being complete, I get very excited about it, as I said, because it has that potential promise of upside. Now, what a return move is it's commonly known by scalp traders or day traders as a retest.
Okay.
Right? So what effectively happens is there's a breakout. If you follow this blue line, there's a breakout of the trend, and then there's a counter trend that forms against that. And that counter trend, if it manages to hold at a key level or where the breakout point is, and then it resumes its prior trend, in this case it would be the uptrend, that particularly if it holds and does not get back into this bearish area.
Okay,
so that is what you need to, yes. So if it holds and reverses above, in this case it would be the trend line, it also happened to reverse above a key support, which is at 320. And that's exactly what has now caused this upward momentum that we're seeing with Blue. And it is currently in a bull channel, as you may see, and it's already breached a few upside continuous levels. In this case, another upside continue level would be at 580, all right? Another important thing about Blue is, I've mentioned this to you, the Dow theory, where the trend becomes steeper over time. But it has to breach a particular upward trend in terms of a bull trend. So in this case, you can see it's teetering on the upward trend.
Yeah.
So once it then breaches that upward trend, the trend becomes steeper and steeper. So it goes in 3 phases. So this is at the cusp of that slope, but it may not continue with that upside because the RSI is a bit overbought, which I love at this point, because overbought then means it could pull back to a reasonable price before you can get in again. So my suspicion is it could pull back down to about the back to that 580. It's currently trading at 663. Yesterday was trading 663. So it could pull back to that 580 mark. And it's quite important that it holds there. It is a key resistance. And once it holds there, it then gives that opportunity to reinvest or to reload on that. And any level above 580 then makes that upside a natural progression to 660, rather 655, 750, and so onwards. I mean, this share has gone up to, it could go up to 10 Rand. At this point, it could go a 100% retracement to 10 Rand, and it's surpassed 10 Rand. So this is a very good, as long as that uptrend is intact, you would then reload every time it breaches key. So I'm excited about this breakout because what it means is it won't, as I said, it will be a steeper uptrend and it won't be zigzagging in this channel. It would then kind of intensify the upward move, which is also a sign that investors are becoming even more optimistic about it.
This is very, very interesting. It's giving Yizo the return, Baba.
And it's about time the thing has been falling. You know what I'm saying? It's been riddled with things.
Yeah.
Now, the alternative scenario, is that if it doesn't break through there, and in fact it trades through the 580 mark, then it means don't get in yet, because it may then fall to
What is that level?
So 580 is the level that if it holds above 580, it is a good time to start.
And it may go steeper, yeah.
Yeah, but if it doesn't and it actually breaches it, and it doesn't hold, then 510 becomes your next support. In fact, if it trades below 480, it means you shouldn't be investing, because it means it's out of this bull trend or this bull channel.
All right.
So at this point, I would leave you with wait for the RSI to pull back, let it pull back to about 580, and then if it holds at 580, that then gives you the at least the signal that you may start investing.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let us get into MTN now.
Yep. MTN. Okay, so this is the level, and 480 would be a one that says don't get in. All right, you shouldn't be investing.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So then MTN. You might notice there is another return move. I'll show it to you. So MTN this is a steeper bear trend that got formed in the overall bear trend, which commenced in 2016, 2015.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. So that's why I'm just like, wow, it's time now. We know you're getting it at a really good prices. Again, return move, right? So it's the breakout, and then it returns. Can you see it holds on that trend line and doesn't resume back into that bearish area.
Yes.
That, for a lot of experienced traders or experienced investors, they kind of wait for that move to complete before they get in. Because if that move is not completed and it returns back, then it becomes a false break and reversal. And you could incur a lot of losses in that case. So you need to kind of wait for it to hold at a particular level. In this case, it would be around 79.85 and on the trend line. And it's now, that's the reason why we're seeing this upward trend, this movement upwards, because it's completed the return move and now we can see further gains. But the RSI is saying, hold on, not now. Let me just pull back to a reasonable price, which I would think is around the 109. So 109.45 makes a good, or even above 98.50.
Okay.
109.05 or even above 98.50 make good buying opportunities, and with potential gains to back to 118.75, 132, just that natural progression to 148.45. So this is it, at least reclaiming all these prior losses. Okay, so it's completed the return move, and because it's done that, this deal is even sweeter.
Okay.
You have to wait for that return move. And that's the thing about investment. Sometimes you just have to be patient for that in order to get the big move. Now, the flip side of things, in fact, if it has potential to actually trade up to 199.
Ooh.
30, yeah. And if it maintains that uptrend. And above 199.30, it will break out of that long-term bear trend data back to 2016. And now we're fully in a bull trend. But you can catch it now. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to wait for that to happen. Alternatively is that if it pulls back in its RSI pulls back and MTN happens to trade below 98.50, it means just hold off. Don't get in yet.
Just wait,
Yeah, just wait. Just wait, because it may then fall to 79.85, and you could still get it cheaper. But I think once it trades below 79.85, that's pretty much the end. We shouldn't. Yeah.
All right.
So below 98.50 means don't get in, but a reversal above 98.50 means you may start investing.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's quite a lot that is happening there, especially with Nigeria and the tariff hikes.
Nigeria loves slapping them with.
Yeah, there's a lot that's happening there in Nigeria, but also do things look better in South Africa?
Nigeria makes it a bit more credible because of their population.
Yes.
And it has it's more profound, or it has a bigger weight there.
Yes.
And that's why they're sticking it out. They get slapped, they manage to negotiate things down. But the fact is, it's a very lucrative company that is expanding in the right areas in Africa and meeting the right target market as well. And it's all target markets, in fact. You know? So they're doing pretty well in Nigeria, and they have to just kind of go with the punches every time they get slapped. But I think at this point, you can tell that investors are thinking, okay, this is probably it, and this is time to get in with what the charts are saying.
Yeah, even with the risk, but I mean, yeah, because they've also been in that market for a long time, they clearly know how to maneuver things there. So
more than any of these other. So I like MTN for that reason.
Yeah,
because they can maneuver in those markets.
Okay. Well, let's
and I mean, which telecoms has not been riddled with, you know, all including Telkom in its own.
Yeah, and including Vodacom, because even Vodacom for a long time was considered to be the more defensive, and then they also doing stuff in Egypt, and then please call me thing,
and that's why I'm not really, because Vodacom movement is very erratic, and it hasn't completed that return move that I want. Because let me give you an example. If it just breaks out and goes up without doing a return move, we run the risk of it pulling back quite significantly. You might be, you know, lost in that upside, and then it pulls back, very similar to what happened to Aspen.
Okay.
Where it broke out, went up so deliciously, and then when it pulled back, you lost all your
I remember
your gains, you know.
So
that's the reason why I always look out for return moves after a breakout to know that it's a good time. In this case with Telkom, also broke out of its bear trend, and there we go, the return move breakout, holds above the trend line, does not return back into that bearish area, and then you see that upside. So in that bull channel, and it's done, the upside continues levels actually, it also confirms that that level is quite a key level. 31.45 is a key level.
Okay.
So if it continues trading above 31.45, it's thumbs up to be investing. I like the fact that it completes a bit of a flag there, which means we could see upside to there or 39.65. But its RSI is also slightly overbought, so you can wait for it to pull back a little. And if it pulls back and still holds above 31.45, then you have the liberty to just go long and go strong. So if it does breach the upper slope, remember the upper slope analogy.
Yes.
Breaches the upper slope, the trend becomes steeper, which then means it will then breach the upper slope as well as the 39.65. Then we could see gains to 50, 70, 59.80, and 66.80. But if it doesn't breach the upper slope, we could just see it kind of oscillate, gradually go to those levels and not as fast as it would if it breached the upper slope. So we'd see it oscillate within the channel.
Okay.
Now, the alternative scenario is that 31.45 becomes also a key support, because once that is breached, then it means you shouldn't be investing in it. Because it could then fall down to 25.70 and potentially down to 20.40. So 31.45. Yeah, I think this is the end of this downside. As I said, there's this newfound love for these telecoms. Also, you know, if something has fallen so far for so long, asset managers need to pick up on stock at really reasonable prices. And you can tell this is clever money coming in.
And it's quite interesting because when MTN was trying to take over Telkom, I think they were saying that fair value for the share is at around, I think, between 60 and 80. Rand, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I remember that those talks.
So it's quite interesting to see even these numbers that we're seeing here, 31.45, and now where if we do lose some momentum, it could go up to 20-something Rand. So it's going to be quite interesting to see if it will actually test those levels.
I think with what I'm seeing, and I've been in the market long enough to see such moves, I think this is a change in sentiment from what was previously long-term bearish to, and you don't want to get in when it's already
right there,
when the retailers start coming in. You want to kind of pick it up when the clever money comes in.
Yeah. And is this also just testimony on Telkom? Because I think for a long time when they were a target of these suitors, where people were wondering if Telkom could actually survive on its own. And I remember Serame, and he was still new at the helm back in those days, and he was saying, no, guys, we can do this on our own. We just need to sort out, some internal things, but we'll be fine. And then we even had a consortium with Siko Maseko wanting
a bit. I mean, it is, the telecoms is an essential.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I suppose being a government institution then, it kind of helped with them retaining, cushioning a lot of their mess.
Yeah.
But it looks like investors are like, okay, we're done with that. It looks like there's upside and it's a reasonable price to get in, based on what the charts are saying. Yeah. So as I say, just wait for the RSI, but 31.45 becomes, but also breaching the 31.45. So, I got that a bit wrong with the pricing there.
No, we got the levels.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, just considering how unloved they were for a long time, and the fact that now it seems that the clever money is going in again, does this also just prove the cyclicality of telcos companies, where that's basically where now technical analysis and trading come in.
Where it completely ignores the fundamentals.
Yes.
Yes, where it's just like, okay, I get what's happening, but
Yeah.
this is where we are at.
Yeah.
That is what we're seeing at this point. And in most cases, the technicals will be the ones that tell you that the change is in before. So that sometimes it's something that's brewing. So what do they know that we don't know
Yes.
for it to go up
Yeah.
the way it does?
Yeah.
So, but as I said, sentiment is right on the chart, which
Yeah.
is the reason why I kind of like the chart.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that, Moxima. Really,
Thank
really
you
appreciate
too.
your insights into that telcos sector, and particularly including Blue Label Telecoms that not a lot of people.
I've been calling it a buy though, girl. Remember,
Yeah,
I've been like,
yeah.
guys, I get it. You just get it, get it. You should be sitting pretty now.
Yeah.
And it's proving that it is in
Yeah.
that uptrend now.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time and for your insights there. That was the Money Hub's Moxima Gama. That's all for this week's segment, but do stay tuned for lots more coming up right here on Business Day TV.